That was Danny Johnson's solo from a Rick Derringer song called Teenage Love Affair that probably these days wouldn't float. And I'm very fond of saying, you know, why don't cover bands play this song? Why don't cover bands play this song? Generally the reason is that just because I want to hear them do it doesn't mean they have to do it, and hardly anyone outside these four walls where Ted and I reside even is aware of it. So if you go looking for that solo on this album, you won't find it. And here's why. Right? So we're going to go back a little bit. When I was about 17, one day I bought 2 LPs, which was like, that was like winning the lottery in those days if you bought 2 LPs. One was the James Gang Thirds, which turned out to be an absolute classic. No, I tell a lie, it was James Gang Live, I already had Thirds. And the other one was this. And about 200 years later, it's still one of my favourite albums, and I listen to it non-stop. There's a song on this called Teenage Love Affair. And it's one of these songs, I would think like Todd Rundgren's I Saw the Light or Cheap Trick's I Want You to Want Me, that you hear it and you tell all your friends, this is going to be a #1 for like 10 weeks. You know, you can forget about Mud, you know, and Shakin' Stevens. This is going straight to the top. It's so fantastic. And I think it would probably have been released a couple of times, but ironically, it's not. It wasn't as popular as Rick's Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, which is, you know, like a legendary anthem to this day. So as I say, we're going right back to the start of this song and the reason that Danny's solo is not on this. Now, what happens in the song is there are 2 guitar solos that Rick Derringer plays both of. After this album, he did Spring Fever. You can get all these albums on a 5-album box set, which I would thoroughly recommend. You know, it's 5 incredible albums. And he then took a sharp detour by forming the Derringer Band, who did 2 albums, which again are available on this box set, called Derringer and Sweet Evil, and recruited Kenny Anderson, bass, Vinny Appice, who's now last in line with Viv Campbell, and a 19 or 20 year old guitar hotshot from Shreveport, Louisiana, called Danny Johnson. So because the first version is on All American Boy, the 2 solos are both played by Rick. When they went out to tour, between the Derringer's Sweet Evil album, the record of that is this, Derringer Live. It's my vote for best live album of all time, maybe along with Humble Pie at the Fillmore, Rock and Roll Animal, Get Your Eyes Out, but I think this sits at the top, for me anyway. They played the song pretty much verbatim, you know, very similar version to, or almost identical version to, on Rock and Roll Animal. But this time Rick split the solo into 2, so first half is Danny and the second half is Rick, after which they go back to playing the riff, and Danny plays one of the greatest kick-ass fills, like 1-bar fill of all time, when the band is Danny plays that. I just love that lick. But I love all of both the stuff. So that version on Derringer Live is a more live, frenzied version than, you know, this one to me is like the perfect heavy metal pop single, which you could say about Cheap Trick as well. This version is a bit more kick-ass. There was then this legendary radio promo play only, live in Cleveland. It took me about 20 years to find. And there's another version of it. And then Live at the Whiskey, which is credited here Rick Derringer Live at the Whiskey A Go Go. It's actually the Derringer Band. So going by that, there are 4 versions. On YouTube now there's a Boston concert, there's a Detroit concert, which I'm sure will have it because, you know, they came on and played Let Me In, Let Me In, I'm sure you know. that one, yeah? Well, except it doesn't go ooh, no feedback. And then they go straight into Teenage Love Affair. So over the course of these videos, I'm going to show you every chord, every lick and every fill in Teenage Love Affair. Slight disclaimer, because there are at least 4 versions, they will vary very slightly, but these guys were incredible for playing their solos very accurately. I don't know if you've ever gone to a concert and you see your favourite band play one of your favourite songs, and the guy, as fantastic as no doubt he is, improvises a solo, and part of you is loving it and part of you is saying, I wish he would play the solo off the record. You know, I'd just love to hear the original solo. These guys were great at this. You know, all the live stuff, you'll hear Danny play note for note, and even when they reformed and very nearly came to the United Kingdom, one of the big musical regrets of my life is that the show at Newcastle was cancelled and they never came over. But even on the reformed tour, you will see, or hear rather, Danny play the solos like Loosen Up Your Grip, note for note. So over the course of these videos, I'm going to go through this bit by bit. It's just a great song. There's lots of really, really interesting chords. There's a chord that may be slightly controversial in how you play it, but you've got to bear in mind there's 2 guys in the band playing this. So, be back in a minute. Me and the Bear will go through part 2 of Rick Derringer, or Stroke Derringer, Teenage Love Affair.